Well, tomorrow, November 11th, marks 100 years since the end of the First World War. 86 world leaders, joined by a South African delegation led by Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, will be meeting in Paris for the commemoration. French President Emmanuel Macron says the ceremony will not only be a sombre remembrance of those who died in the war, but also call for international cooperation. Elena Casas reports.
Here at Delville Wood, South African troops fought one of the bloodiest battles of the country's history in July 1916. More than 3,000 soldiers defended the wood, 143 survived. This tree was the only one left standing. It still has shrapnel from the battle in its trunk.
It is very important that these memorials and the commemorations themselves to ensure that it does not happen again and their death was not in vain. So we have this moral obligation to commemorate these soldiers for their ultimate sacrifice in the defense of freedom.
This memorial was originally built in 1926 and only named white soldiers. It's been redeveloped since South Africa's transition to democracy to reflect the role of the 21,000 black South African troops who fought on French battlefields. This memorial, inaugurated in 2016, is engraved with every name of the more than 13,000 South African soldiers killed in World War I. Organised alphabetically without race or regiment, it gives South Africa's war dead an equality they didn't have in life. Delville Wood attracts many South African visitors, some of whom are learning this history for the first time.
It's very emotional. Standing in the same place and looking at the gravestones outside, you just get this feeling of such a big waste, in such a small time. If you think about it in today's standards, it's almost unthinkable that you have so many people die.
On Sunday, a South African delegation will join 86 world leaders at Paris's Arc de Triomphe to commemorate those millions of war dead. Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will be among them. French President Emmanuel Macron sees the ceremony partly as an explicit rebuke to those world leaders whose divisive rhetoric, he says, has left the world order more fragile than at any time since the 1930s. Macron says the commemoration aims to honour the dead and remind the world of the consequences of conflict. Elena Casas, SABC News, Delville Wood in the Somme, France.